Hey, what's going on, friends, family? My name's Skylance, and we are jumping on the hype train for Ashes of Creation. If that's cool, I'm going to be spitting out every little bit of info that we got, and also trying to dive a little bit deeper. So we're going to talk about the class system. We're talking about specifically the Cleric archetype here, as well as the levels 1 through 10 active skills, specifically the new trailer that they just released, actually, just a couple days ago. I had some time to digest it and also do a little bit of research into the game, and now I'm here to unfold what I have discovered, just a little bit. Of course, everything is vague. The game isn't even playable yet, blah, 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 but we're getting some gameplay. Here's some gameplay. They're showing it off as trailer footage, and it's like, here's stuff and things. Now, I'm just gonna let this play in the background. I'm gonna loop it if you guys don't mind, but this is, I think, a good example of what we can expect with the game coming soon, in both good and bad ways. But first, hey, it's a Cleric. What do we even got for abilities? And if you don't mind, I'm just gonna actually reset the trailer here. So, Ashes of Creation, I'm excited for it. The Alpha 1 preview of the Cleric archetype. Again, the archetype doesn't mean the full class, and this is not all the abilities. It's just levels 1 through 10. That's it. And this is also just the active skills. We don't know about the passives, and there's a number of other things that kind of go into how a class is going to feel. I also like how is actually the versus action versus tab targeting, how is that going to feel? And we have no idea what the gameplay is going to be like, but we have Castigation. Anyways, it's going to be a Fire Whip, right? Benediction is going to be Chain Heal, okay, from the Shaman. Easy does it. Then we've also got, what do we got? Hallowed Ground, which is kind of, it's basically Consecration, except it also heals, and it looks like there's a wind up to it, and it maybe is ranged. Then we have, Divine Sensor. Yeah, we have that skill basically in ESO. It looks like they took Paladin classes from other games and kind of threw it together. Resurrection's pretty core. Got that cast time, cool animation. Particle effects are really wild. We'll definitely elaborate on that. Damnation, though, damage over time, lowering damage output as well. Yeah, that seems like it would be pretty good overall as supportive. Pretty supportive class. Swift act that heals your target. Quick heal. That's pretty much it. It just got your basic stuff. An exorcism. Looks like a big wind up with a big pop. Yeah, holy energy that blasts. Also, it does AoE at the end of the channel too. So, a big nuke attack, and of course you got your judgment, which just straight up is, wow, it just straight up is from World of Warcraft. So those are the skills that we have, and literally every single skill, maybe with some slight alterations debatably, is found in identical archetypal classes inside of very popular MMOs. So, except for the whip thing. The whip thing is kind of interesting. I would expect that from maybe the mage class, actually. I've been seeing this like forever, this whole time. I legit thought that was from the mage class. I don't know, like a fire whip? I don't know. Okay, anyways, maybe it makes sense, actually. A little bit of Ghost Rider in here. So that's going to be the Cleric. That's just your kind of leveling skills, 1 through 10 active skills. And I think it looks interesting, but let's talk about the looks real quick. Particle effects, still out of this freaking world. We already did a rant about that, and pretty much every comment on every video is holy fucking particle effects. Unless you're an influencer. If you look down, you'll see like, all the influencers like, oh my god, it looks so good. But real people who actually, give a fuck about shit, they'll be like, yo, dude, particle effects are a little, intense, isn't it? So hopefully that actually does get tuned down. I would have liked to have seen indicators on the ground. I didn't see any sort of true indicators or any sort of true systems like kind of like WildStar, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft. A lot of games have more clean and clear abilities, and even if the abilities are very vague, they will have extra, kind of arcade-style lines or circles or, just like damage indicators of some kind. Big red AoE circles, and maybe that's going to be an option that they add later on. That'd be great. These are just kind of cinematic introductions. And if I can actually rant about that real quick, we are seeing these trailers, and these are trailers to hype people up and also to inform people. That's cool, but if you compared this trailer directly to something like Guild Wars 2's trailer, it doesn't compare. Guild Wars 2's trailers and a lot of other, AAA MMOs, when they do their skill previews, just have a lot more pop and seem a lot more relevant to real gameplay. This is just standing still using the abilities. We don't have any numbers, we don't have, like, anything really. Things are just a little vague. To what, like, was that nuke supposed to one-shot something? What kind of, what am I supposed to expect? Also, when they showed AoE skills, they didn't actually show it in an AoE, like, they didn't show multiple people dying from it. It was just really kind of poor. Again, compared to games that generally, when they show off characters, they're really good, like League of Legends, stuff like that. You want to show off the skills to the fullest, or just literally in real-time gameplay. So this is kind of a poor execution, and it reminds me a little bit of some other Kickstarter MMOs. I actually did a whole video on Crowfall's Cleric preview. Crowfall's Cleric preview was also very bad. I thought it was very poorly produced. So I don't expect this video to actually be as viral as others, even though it could have been really exciting. I think if they spent a little bit more time and they had a little bit more faith in these actual abilities and the fun of it, they would have showed off that fun. That's what I do have to say, to be a little bit more biting. But otherwise, the Cleric archetype, it looks cool. You know, I like the colors and everything. Sure, yeah, definitely already vibing with some Paladin vibes, but we do have to talk about this. These are just the general Cleric archetype skills. You will actually be combining these skills. You're going to get a bunch of different stuff, and maybe some of these skills are going to be modified based on your secondary archetype. So yeah, let's just run down the list. Hopefully you guys can follow along. If you guys actually have, like, I don't know, the wiki pulled up, maybe you could do that. So if you do that, yeah, sure, you can see all the classes and everything, but we're going to specifically look at the Clerics line going down it. So starting out here, we're going to start with the Scryer, which is attached to the Bard. Now there's actually no information on this whatsoever. So the Bard, or the Bard Cleric or Scryer, that's probably going to be very support oriented, but going for Cleric, which is High Priest, a priest, that kind of evokes something of like, you know, probably like World of Warcraft, to be honest, and that's going to definitely be more supporty. But anyways, it says Cleric augments. They actually have mentioned stuff about this. Class with Cleric as the secondary archetype, they're going to be able to choose between life or death augments. So basically, are you going to be a holy or shadow priest, essentially? So choosing life augments will provide for self-healing benefits, life-giving benefits, and then also it's going to change around skills so that they, I guess, provide indirectly the ability to heal people. Maybe like you throw your spear, and if it hits something and it does like a crit, it'll like explode and radiate heal. I don't know, who knows? But since we are mainly talking about the primary archetypal abilities of the Cleric, I don't know, maybe we should mention the secondary Cleric. It's so confusing because secondary skills are the same, or classes are the same as main. But anyways, if you do choose Cleric as your secondary archetype, it will allow you to augment all your abilities. Like all your abilities will have the options to be, you know, add healing or life-giving of some kind, you know, lifesteal, sustain, or possibly death and destruction, damage over time. I don't know. Again, shadow skills, things like that. Okay, so the next one, we got the Templar, which is going to combine with the Fighter. Maybe this is going to feel kind of monkish, possibly. I don't know, maybe it's going to have more spear throws, lots of more spear throws. All we could do is kind of assume and guesstimate there. We do have Oracle with the Mage. I would like to see that. That's maybe, is that going to be, I don't know, a mage with a priest kind of concepts, and they actually do have some thoughts and feelings here, actually, when it says the Mage with its augments. So even though we're talking about the Mage for one quick second, this is going to be how it augments the Cleric. So mages will offer 4 elemental schools of augmentation, such as teleportation, fire, frost, and lightning. So elementals plus teleportation. So the Oracle might allow you to be a little bit more aggressive, or potentially just give you a little bit more mobility that you wouldn't otherwise. So that's pretty cool, and I think I'm gonna appreciate that for sure. Yeah. Okay, next up we have the Ranger, which is going to be Protector. Now, the Ranger is going to be focused on nature abilities, so a Cleric then augmented with nature abilities. That could be pretty cool. I'm not really sure how some of these themes are going to act. They don't have any like notes on Ranger augments, though I would assume, you know what, I can't even actually. How are they going to do Ranger? I'm assuming it's going to be, the Ranger's probably going to be very similar to Guild Wars 2's Ranger, so I don't know, how are they going to do that? Rogue is going to be the Shadow Disciple. This is totally Shadow Priest. This is totally going to be Shadow Priest. It's totally going to allow you to be more aggressive. And it's there's no, it's even called Shadow Disciple. It's gonna be Shadow Priest. That's gonna be full on. If you want to be a Cleric, Rogue, Shadow Priest, it's Shadow Disciple. That's it. We also have Shaman for the Summoner. Now it's called Shaman. You know what? Actually, no. We actually do have a couple of abilities that are straight up from Shaman inside of World of Warcraft. So maybe yeah. With this, we're probably gonna be able to summon stuff. Okay, let's talk about the Summoner augments. Classes with Summoner as a secondary class will have skills that allow you to summon weapons. Now they say weapons, but they mean well, it says, yeah, no, it says they're actual weapons. Sometimes it might actually be like a character, or maybe like a rune weapon that kind of floats around you. Who knows? These summoned weapons, they're not equipable. I don't know, guys, we already have like a theme in the kit where we have a whip, a spear, and a hammer that we throw. Even though that's just thematically, like they're just abilities that we use. If we also pick the summoner, are we gonna just kind of, is it gonna become a, I don't know, a stance dance type of class, like Bellona from Smite? Or maybe a couple of, some concepts like from the Elementalist inside of Guild Wars 2, where you have like a giant, you know, flaming greatsword, or you switch to the ice bow and you just do a couple of attacks with it, you kind of switch around. That could be really fun too. It would be interesting. Or maybe the summoner class allows you to give, you know, oh, this class, hey, here's a spear, or it could be like ESO, where it's like everyone presses X, you know, or something like that. It's like, hey, press this button and everyone can do a unique ability. So you kind of give other people the ability to use a new ability. I think there's a lot of options they could go with that, so that's kind of exciting. But then again, I'm a little bit of geek for the whole summoner line. Whenever they show off the summoner line, I will freak out. And then finally, we have Apostle when it comes to mixing with the tank line. It's interesting that they didn't... Oh, okay, so I see how it's done here. So actually there are 64 unique classes, because based on your main archetype versus the secondary archetype, it's actually a totally different class. So a cleric tank is an apostle, but if you are a tank cleric, I know, it's confusing, then you are a paladin. Because I was waiting to talk about the paladin. Oh boy. Anyways, we are talking about the primaries today. Hopefully that's fine. But let's talk about the apostle. Now, firstly, being a cleric and then secondarily a tank makes you an apostle. And it will probably make you act like a holy paladin, from kind of what I can tell, or maybe like vanilla, or, you know, Burning Crusade holy paladin, where you're doing like lots of holy shocks. You can actually do some damage a little bit. You got some burst, but for the most part, like you're just sort of like this hybrid class, like a true hybrid class that is not exactly playing the role of tank, but probably off tank as well as off healer as well as off DPS. That's at least the vibe that I'm getting, based on all the other archetypes and what we can see with the secondary archetypes as well, since it is versing paladin. Like a paladin should be a pretty obvious, like that's the tank class. Then what the hell is apostle? If it's not tank, then but it's still mixed with tank, like it can't possibly be any of the DPS classes, so it's probably going to feel much more hybrid than the others. Though I think one thing I would like, other than just being, oh, this is the in-between class, it would be really cool if the augment, like if you picked tank, it would allow the apostle to be maybe less based on heals and become more like a shield support. You kind of get this vibe a little bit if you play Guild Wars 2. There are some shield reflecting abilities, things like that. Also, Albion Online has just straight up a shield support role, and obviously if you play MOBAs and stuff like that, there are people who just do the shields, and then you have people who just do the heals, or you have more unique roles. So I think mixing with the tank line, that's a perfect opportunity to create have your support class kind of move away from just being a hybrid or just being DPS and healing or just healing, and have something wholly new where it's like, okay, tanking is normally about damage mitigation, so let's make a support class about damage mitigation for everyone. Shields for everyone, dudes. That'd be pretty sweet. Anyways, that's a lot of just guesstimation. I did just kind of want to rant about the cleric class. Also, just have those abilities playing in the background there that you could see. We still don't get to see them like in real time. There's no way to dig through all of the stream footage and be able to discern fucking anything that happens in those fights. Particle effects are wild, but I really do hope, if this could be a criticism of the trailer itself, I hope that we do sooner or later, really I just want all of them to be actual gameplay, more fully fleshed out. And guys, I know we're hungry and we want to eat up every little bit of information, which I am doing, but I would like this company that is making a tremendous amount of money to be on par. If they're trying to compete with AAA MMOs, prove it and create trailers that actually compete with the trailers of those. So, directly looking at how Guild Wars 2 did their introduction of the classes, like actual real gameplay inside of set piece, scenarios, and even though that's not true gameplay, it still was just a little bit better. So I do want to see more of this game, and hopefully they could do straight up just full live streams. If we could do that, of just like, hey, we're playing as a cleric, we're going to run this dungeon, here's the cleric point of view. And then you could do it, for each class, and then when you introduce the secondary classes, you can do that again. And, okay, so moving on about this channel, I do actually plan, I guess, 64 videos. Each class I will cover, I will run down, I will do general, hey, what is this, what's going on with the game, videos, news updates, things like that. But Ashes of Creation is the one that I'm, throwing it down with. That's going to be the game that I'm just tired of thinking about all these different games. I'm just tired of thinking about games. They all fail. Ashes of Creation is obviously the one that's the most hyped, has the most highest chance of succeeding, and it's also the one that has, like, honestly, just like the most information. Like, there's a lot of content to this game, and I can't wait to just kind of divulge it and make content from that. So if you guys are having fun with these videos, even though we don't have much video footage and a lot of it is kind of blurry and spectacular in all the wrong ways, hopefully we can start getting some good footage, especially if I can play it. That'd be great. I can record my own footage. But before I leave, please, I want to know, what do you think about the Cleric? What do you think about Paladin-style classes or Priest-style classes in the comments below? And was this what you would expect? And do you think that this will balance out well in the game? Because otherwise, I don't see any that seem obviously like the support role, but for being a support role, this one actually has like a lot of damagey stuff. Like I don't know, I would kind of expect this to just be like, this is already a hybrid class. So is the gameplay going to be less about hyper-focused supports and hyper-focused roles, or is everyone going to be somewhat a jack of all trades and then also have specialties that they excel at? I'm a little confused, I'm a little worried, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you hyped? Are you excited? Regardless, let's keep it alive. Much love, friends and family. Subscribe to stay tuned and stuff and things. I don't know, YouTube stuff and Patreon. Okay, that's it. That's the outro. Bye.